Hello and welcome to another episode of 360 Sports, and we have a special football edition as it is the Super Bowl show. I'm Chris Reynolds, joined by Patrick Gray, Colin and Jack Weiler. And fellas, this Sunday, Niners-Chiefs rematch from a few years ago. How are you guys feeling? What are your predictions for this one?
No, I'm ready. Sorry, I'm going to take this real quick. All right, look at the 49ers, right? Really good. CMC, George Kittle, right? On paper, they should probably win this. Patrick Mahomes is starting to enter Tom Brady territory. Where I will not bet against him at all. I'm not going to bet against that man because kind of midway through the season, everyone's like, oh, the receivers are dropping balls. The guys aren't playing as good as they are or as good as they used to. But now he's back in the Super Bowl. He's winning it all.
For me, I'm thankful that it's Super Bowl Sunday because this season has been really lackluster to me so far. Nobody had an outstanding season. No team had an outstanding season. Maybe the Ravens, if you had an argument. The 49ers were good. But for me, this game comes down to the simple fact that the 49ers, while they haven't been playing great in the playoffs so far, especially their defense, they just have too much talent. I know it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes, and their defense is playing especially well right now, and their offense is starting to get picked up as well. But this 49ers team is just loaded with talent from head to toe.
Yeah, Jack?
I am taking 49ers all the way on this one. Nah, don't do that. No. The Chiefs have been mid all year, to say the least. They've had many problems. They are just not themselves that they've been the past few years. And 49ers coming off a strong comeback win against the Lions, I'm taking Niners.
I'm telling you, you guys are going to get cheddared. You guys are going to get made fun of. You guys are going to be turned into fools. Okay. Because that man right there, I'm telling you, it's going to turn into Tom Brady. Would you guys bet against Tom Brady after all that he's been through? 7 championships. Would you guys bet against him?
I mean, as an Eagles fan, I did, and we won.
Okay, the one time. Yeah, you can pick the one time off.
I mean,
I'm a Giants fan. We
lost.
won 2 times. Eli Manning, GOAT, Hall of Famer. Arguing about this earlier. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Not the point. He is entering that echelon. He's definitely going to win this. You know what? Let me get a score prediction. 34-27.
Patrick?
I mean, for me, this 49ers defense has been making me really scared over the past couple weeks, especially when they played the Packers and they played the Lions. Those Lions absolutely destroyed them in the first half. It didn't seem like either side of the football for the 49ers could do much at all. And then Trent Williams said after the game, there's no winning without a little bit of luck. It seemed like they were lucky in that back half of that football game last week.
That catch by you probably was the luckiest thing that's going to happen to them. Off the helmet of the Lions defender.
Beautiful throw by Birdie, by the way.
Absolutely. and you're right. But that secondary, Hufanga and Charvarius Ward have not been playing very well over the past 2 games that they've had during these playoffs. And I'm scared to see that out. But that offense is so high-powered. I mean, you got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, who I'm not a fan of at all. And I want to say I'm not biased. I'm an Eagles fan, and I don't want to pick the 49ers at all because I just it's hard for me to do that because of our history in the past couple of years. But that offense is stacked head to toe. Now the offensive line on the right side is not super great, but they have talent all over the field. And I'm the biggest Brock Purdy hater there is. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league over the next 5 years, but this year he was, and he's been playing like it. He's not been sensational. I don't think he's been the best quarterback in the league. I don't think he even deserves to be in the MVP conversation. He's been playing good enough to get them to the Super Bowl.
And what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 30-21 49ers.
All right, I'm going 24-20 Niners.
Ooh.
You guys are going to be upset.
I didn't give my pick. I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm joining you, Colin. If they beat the Ravens, and that proved that the Chiefs, when they need to, they can turn it on. I have 24-21. I don't think the Chiefs can put up more than 30 against the Niners. Their defense has been a little worrisome, and I don't think the Niners can have that same offensive luck against that Chiefs defense, which is really good against the pass. I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. And we're all going to be watching the Super Bowl. But one thing we won't watch is the Pro Bowl, which, let's be honest, might be the worst of all the all-star events of any Major League sport. The Pro Bowl might be the worst. But we're going to fix it. We're all going to give us one.
I don't think the Pro Bowl's the worst out of all of them.
What are you going to argue?
Who's watching the MLB All-Star game?
That, I think, is one of the best ones because they actually play.
Better.
Yeah, but it's not as entertaining. Let's be honest. Football's a little bit more entertaining.
Did you watch the flag football?
And just because of that, football's going to be more entertaining to watch. As much as it wasn't as good as it used to be, it's still going to be an entertaining game to watch.
Did you watch any flag football?
Were you not excited when they announced the flag football for the Olympics?
I didn't. That's more important than a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, but it's the same idea.
Dude,
the effort is different.
The effort is different.
They started playing dodgeball, and they thought that was going to revive it. I fell asleep on my couch. I was like, oh, Saquon, there he is. All right, cool. And then I went right to bed.
It was good for a year, but we're going to fix it. Patrick, give us an idea of what you have to make the Pro Bowl more watchable.
I think the only way for people to start caring about the Pro Bowl again, and I mean, obviously, if you've seen clips from the Pro Bowl, if you watched the Pro Bowl this year, the players were happy. They were having a ball out on the field, and that's a good thing to see. I think contact is the first thing that needs to be brought back. I think that would make the game watchable again. I mean, if you think about the Pro Bowl, you think about Sean Taylor's hit on the Buffalo punter back in, I think it was 2006. It was a hit heard all around the world. I think it's the only way I would really want to watch the Pro Bowl again. I watch it because it's on now, because there's nothing really else on that day. But without that, I mean, if you put contact back in, the game becomes that much more fun.
I agree completely. Just I don't think they're going to because of the injuries.
Yeah.
And when the game means nothing, football's hard to do a exhibition version of it.
Do any of you guys think that hit was a little lame? Like, it was like you play defense, right? And then you're hitting a punter who probably hasn't got hit all year.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of lame. Like, sure, it was cool, and the ball flies out. Everything was cool. I thought it was kind of a lame hit.
Yeah, but if you run a fake punt, you deserve to get hit.
Okay, that's fair. See,
You
I
run
didn't
a
think-
fake
you're
punt
right,
in the
you're
Pro
right,
Bowl.
You're right. But it's for that
Punt
stuff.
the ball.
It's to have fun. So
Yeah, I
don't know.
agree.
And it
thought
was
kinda
fun
lame.
to watch the hit.
All right, Colin, what's your solution?
So we're talking about my solution, right? We got my guy DK Metcalf on the screen, right? He won the Celebrity All-Star Game MVP last year for the NBA, right? I say that they add a 5v5 basketball game into this, and with subs and stuff, you have the best athletes in the world. Remember, you have the best athletes. These guys can jump. They could. I think every player in the NFL that's like a wide receiver, skill position, they could probably yam it, right? So you put them all in. It's not going to be like a fundamental game. It's just going to be fun and very easy. And then also, if you watch the NBA All-Star Game, they could kind of play like that. Like, nobody's going to get hurt, right? But you still have the best athletes in the world. It's going to be kind of chaotic because you throw Jason Kelce out there playing center. That would be hilarious. I think if they add this would bring in a whole new revenue of fans. If you bring in basketball fans, somebody that doesn't like football. I like both, luckily, but still, if you don't like football, you're going to tune into this just to see, oh, can these guys really hoop? Can DK Metcalf really play in the NBA? Obviously, he's not, but
Wells, do you think it's easier for an NFL player to play basketball or for an NBA player to play in the NFL?
I don't know. I'm gonna get flamed either way. Whatever way I pick, probably. I don't think a guy in the NFL could come into the NBA and just be able to do that. Like, I think LeBron could, if he had trained for football and had trained to take those hits and stuff. I think he could have played. I don't think it could be the other way around.
I respect it. I actually like that idea a lot.
I would never have thought of that. That's a great idea, though.
I'm going to
Jack, what's your
piggyback
solution?
off of Pat by saying, bring back the pads, bring back the helmets. I want to see the big guys, the linemen out there again.
Yeah, I miss the linemen.
I am tired of seeing a center go out for flag football, snap the ball, and then just take a knee. Like, what's the point in
The only
that?
other thing they do that weekend is the tug of war.
Exactly. I think it's such a waste, and they're just not giving them enough credit for what they do. And I want to see special teams back.
Special teams.
What is all this?
No. I agree.
If you're going to vote someone to the Pro Bowl, have them play in the Pro Bowl.
Exactly. Have them play in the actual game. Have it be meaningful and not just some mini games on the side. That's my opinion.
I also feel bad for the one guy that's to snap the ball every time. Like, they're not needed, and they have to go over there and hike it and snap it every time. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine Jason Kelce shooting a three, though. I keep coming back to that.
I know Jason Kelce can't shoot a three.
I'd like to see that, but
He's going to retire anyway. I heard some people are trying to get rid of the Pro Bowl. They don't want it
Honestly,
in the league anymore.
the title of being a Pro Bowler is
It's too
what
important.
matters. It's
It's-
not the
it's
actual
too-
It's
vote.
kind of skewed, though, now, because it's like, oh, you're a Pro
It's
Bowler.
voting.
No one
It's the
cares.
same thing with the NBA. It's the same thing with every sport.
No. If you're an All-Star in the NBA, that's an exclusive crew, and it's still cool to be an NBA All-Star. If you're an NFL Pro Bowler, it's kind of like, okay, like, you were pretty good. You were better at your position,
You know,
whatever.
the only thing it really matters for is when you're going into the Hall of Fame is how many Pro Bowl votes you have.
All right, well, now I have a mini game to propose because the actual Pro Bowl game itself, I don't know, but I like it when kickers kick stuff, but guess what? What about a person who's not a kicker trying field goals? That's right. I would like to see Jason Kelce kicking a field goal. And guess what? Get the NFC, get the AFC, keep pushing them back and see how far they can make it. In the Texans game against the Bucks, remember that the Texans kicker got hurt, so they had to have that other guy kick goals?
It's happened a bunch of times.
That was the most interesting part of that game, honestly, and I'd like to see some like random dudes, Stephon Diggs, trying to kick a field goal. I think that can make it fun because Justin Tucker playing tic-tac-toe, I mean, that wasn't as exciting.
I would say Panesa will kick a field goal. That's
That'd
what I
be
want to
interesting.
say.
Yeah. Do you think they would be able to do it, though? Like, especially those players that you mentioned. Like, do you think they would have to train for it at least for like a week, right? And I don't even still think they could get past like the 25-yard line.
I think some could. Like, you saw Gronk, right? Did like
He made
FanDuel
that.
kick.
He made that field goal.
That was weird.
That was.
But like, if they let them train a little bit, I think some could get it. But that's my solution.
Absolutely, they can get it.
That's
With like
cool,
a
though.
week's training, like a kicker just showing them how to do it, they can do
Yeah, it's
it.
the winner.
Especially with
Whoever
25 yards.
whoever makes the farthest field goal wins the competition.
Alex said, what about a captain's draft, like in the NBA? You know how LeBron and Giannis draft
Yeah.
players?
That would be cool.
What do you
I
guys
feel as
think?
though the captains would forget about all the O-linemen until the end, and then it would just kind of get sad. Be like, yeah, I'll take this offensive lineman from the Seahawks I
Yeah.
never heard of. Just because you know that, like, if Patrick Mahomes is a captain, he doesn't know every offensive lineman in the league. So he's just going to be picking names out of a hat
Yes,
and
he
just kind of
does.
like, okay, maybe he does, but maybe that was a bad example. No, he doesn't know every offensive lineman in the NFL.
Not every.
I guess maybe every Pro Bowler, but I don't know. I feel as though towards the end of it, it would get lame, but cool idea.
And
Cool idea.
I kind of do like the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning thing that they've got going on
I
with the
like
Pro
it
Bowl
too,
games.
yeah.
I like them. Did you see the super hot fire rap battle that Eli Manning did?
Yeah,
The
he was
Tom-
dissing
yeah.
I
Tom
thought it
Brady.
was funny.
Well, the NBA did it. Now they switched back to two sides. I don't know. I think it could be worth switching up, but I'm going to go back to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to show you guys some moments. You're going to rank them blindly. You're not going to know what's coming next. But out of 5, we're going to look at these moments, and let's judge them.
Oh,
All right.
the best.
First one, personally, one of my favorite moments as a Saints
Well, of
fan.
course, you're a Saints fan.
Saints fan. Oh, he's taking it back.
Tracy Porter, pick 6 in the Super Bowl. And that was the New Orleans won the Super Bowl.
Basically, the
That,
only reason that they won that game.
that was the biggest moment of that game. That's kind of what won it. And it was a big defensive play.
This is probably
He
one of the
jumped
biggest.
it. It's a good pick. You know, there's some fake picks.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest defensive play in Super Bowl history because I bet the James Harrison pick 6 is on here too, and that was bigger than this was. I mean, basically, this won the game for the Saints, but I mean, I'll probably put this, in my opinion, probably around 4.
I would go 3,
was
right?
gonna
Pick
say
6 to if you're saying
3?
it basically won the Super Bowl, then you kind of I mean that's sick. That's a pick 6. It's a good pick too. I hate the fake picks when it's just like thrown straight to the defender and it's like oh okay, good pick I guess, but still this one wasn't jumped. He predicted that. I would go 3. What do you think, Jack?
I agree with 3. Definitely a good defensive play. Wasn't directly straight to him, but
Yeah, no. I would. Are you cool with 3?
I'll do
And if we
three.
get-
but what
hey-
if James Harrison's is on here?
I think you go 2.
honestly, I'm a Steelers fan, so if he was on there, I'd probably go 1. So
All right, that's fair.
Boo.
All right, we'll put this one 3rd. You guys will have this 3rd, and then we'll go into the next one.
I'll
Next-
take blame.
Next one to rank. Seahawks, Patriots. Gave a lot of hope to Seattle
Is
right
this a
before
Javon
devastation.
Curse catch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this was sick. I remember saying, I was like, all right, Seattle's done. Brady won another. And then boom, I was like, oh, they have hope. They have life.
Yeah.
So, no, that catch was sick.
Put this
Bobbled
in
everywhere.
over the Malcolm Butler interception is crazy, but that catch, I remember watching that, and Javon Curse was having a fantastic game in the Super Bowl that year. I thought he potentially could have been Super Bowl MVP with the game he was having, but that catch was, there's been nothing else like it. Maybe the Julian
I think
Edelman
the Edelman catch,
the
with
Edelman
the
catch,
way that they bobbled
Yeah.
it.
but that put them right where they need to be, and then obviously we know what happened.
Bounced off his leg, too. Bounced everywhere. Bounced 4 times. I mean, I don't think this is better than pick 6. What do you think? It's a good catch. It's good awareness.
Yeah, it didn't
yes,
really
it's
matter
good,
though.
but it's a lot of luck. There was no skill in the.
If it took there's a
certain
little
amount of
skill, but also it could have took a bad bounce off his kneecap and it just flew out of bounds. And then it's like, oh, we're never even looking at this play. I would personally probably go 5. This is the Super Bowl.
I go 5.
I go 4 because
You
we've
go
had-
4.
Yeah.
You think there's going to be a moment worse than this? Super Bowl.
Actually, you might
I
have
don't
a
know.
point because this didn't really matter. It did, and it led to the Malcolm Butler interception.
It could have been a great moment.
been monumental of a Super Bowl play, but it's not because of the interception.
Sick catch. I
So
would go 5
I'll
personally.
go
It's
5.
up to you.
I'm okay with 5.
Yeah, I can agree on that.
Okay.
All right, that's 5. The Saints pick 6 was 3. Next moment we have, and we have the Patriots again.
Ooh, some great. This is old.
Yeah.
Some grainy image.
A great spike by Tom Brady, but that's not the highlight. The highlight's what comes next because this sets up something that we've seen multiple times in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl out of Vinatieri coming onto the field
Yeah.
to potentially win the Super Bowl, which he's done multiple times.
It won the game for him,
It did.
This isn't.
but it's a kick.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, it's a
pregame
kick.
warm-ups.
It's sick. The image is grainy. I don't even know what's going on.
That was the pregame, like the practice.
He's my
warm-up
goat,
goes.
by the way. I don't care about Justin Tucker at all. Adam Vinatieri, because Justin Tucker's never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's also
Or
kind of
Adam
weird.
Vinatieri's ice too. So I mean,
Was he not on the team yet when the Ravens won?
no,
No.
no, he was not.
All right, so what are we putting this kick at?
Well, this would be 5.
This would have been
This
5,
would've been
but
I mean, it
Easily
wins the Super Bowl though. The other one,
Yeah.
4, right?
I put this at 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put
this has
at
got to
4.
be 4. I mean,
Good
this
pick.
was what?
Ice in your veins.
this was-
How far was that?
48 yards.
This was their
48
first
yards?
one?
Yeah, okay.
Rams was
Okay.
their first?
This could be 4.
Was it?
I
Was
think
Rams
so.
their first?
I think so.
Yeah.
Eagles was third.
I think
doesn't
looking
matter.
back on it, it's a big moment, but at the time, just a normal field goal, which obviously has to be important, but we'll put that for.
I could go for it, yeah. Kickers need more love, though.
Yeah.
Our kickers absolutely need more love.
Next moment, looking here, we have.
Oh,
We all know this moment.
come
Giants,
on.
Patriots.
I mean, this is a 1.
I mean, I don't know what's coming next, but I think the highlight here is just watch it. Just watch it. It's Manning getting out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't go
That is the highlight. But the
That's
helmet
the highlight.
catch
No, it's
is
great,
equally as
catch.
great.
No, I'm saying the throw wasn't that great. The highlight for me at least.
And to David Tyree of all people, like
Yeah, right?
a person you would never think to absolutely make this catch. He did nothing for the rest of his career before and after that. He was never a sensational player.
I think he had like 7 catches that season.
Yeah,
Dead serious. I don't
was
think
like-
he was doing much that season
he was
either.
nobody.
And I think the highlight, like I said, I think it really is Eli. I think Eli breaking out of that. Thankfully, they did not call it dead. Because there was a second where, he could have been called dead, but he dogged his way out. I would go 1, but I'm also biased.
And if you watch
Giants
that whole
fan.
play, David Tyree didn't get any separation. He didn't run a crazy route to get wide open or anything. He just made a spectacular catch. And obviously, I think Eli is the more impressive part, but that's something we probably will never see again, a catch off the helmet.
Yeah, and held it down, going down too. I'm not giving him his flowers enough for that because he came down. Oh my God. That
But he
was
made himself
insane.
famous overnight.
So, are we going 1? We have 1 and 2 left, right?
Yeah.
So,
I
do you
mean,
think the next play is going to be better? How
unless-
many plays are truthfully better?
in my
in
opinion,
Super
the
Bowl
greatest
history?
of all time is probably the Philly special.
In my opinion, I think it's
Good
this.
play call.
I think it's this.
I mean, this requires a lot more talent. I hope you
And
know
this
that.
was at a pivotal point in the game.
I understand that.
Oh.
So,
Oh,
finally,
yeah,
we
this is
put
probably-
Giants won
Well,
this.
Giants to this number 1.
Well, wait. What would we put at that?
think we
at?
said
I would
1
say
for
we
the
put that at
Giants.
1.
Yeah, I would
And
put
then
that
we
at 1.
have
This
to
at
place
2.
just
This
because
at
we did
2?
that. We just did
All
that
right,
though, and we only
all
have
right.
2 left.
That was fourth quarter, minute
but
15.
I think our ranking's pretty good. I think
Yeah.
it's arguable.
Yeah.
This is sick.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not mad.
Listen-
Because I think there was a part in that game. I mean, was it Martavis Bryant that made the catch? Santonio Holmes. I'm sorry, that was a bad mistake by me. But that was a more important moment to this game than this was. I mean,
was
as
sick.
impressive and legendary as this
Because
is,
that
this
Tyreek
is more
catch,
memorable. But
that Tyreek catch was more important. This was just a great moment. Big fella running 100 yards in
Yeah,
the Super
yeah.
Bowl.
And the half too. Yeah, no, this is definitely tough. I'm glad we put the Saints 1 at 3, and then
Yeah.
we put this at
Yeah.
2 because I do think this is better overall. But I think we did pretty good.
you know who doesn't get his flowers is James Harrison.
True.
I'm gonna be completely. What is he? 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, or 1-time?
I'm not sure.
I think
I'm not
people
sure
people
either.
hated him when he went
Yeah.
to the Bengals, but he came back.
Yeah, I mean, this was great, and especially, too, if he got tackled at the 1, that touchdown doesn't count. But he barely made it in the end zone, so definitely pivotal play.
But I'll say something. I bet we hope that in this upcoming Sunday, in this Super Bowl, we see a play that's number 1. That's
Yeah,
what I'm hoping
let's hope
for.
so.
Some
Yeah.
Mahomes 90-yard bomb coming off of almost sack.
I'm telling you, this game's gonna be boring. I just
think
have a
so?
feeling.
I hope it's not.
I hope not.
Chiefs games haven't been that fun to watch, but
I mean, last year's Super Bowl was fun, and it was terrible for me, honestly. But
Yeah.
it was a fun game to watch. But the other 2 Super Bowls that the Chiefs played in were not the most amazing Super Bowls of all time.
Kadarius Toney might pull like Antonio Brown, so we might get some action there.
that might be the best part.
That might be
I
the
don't
best
even know if he's
part.
gonna play.
No, he
they said
definitely
he's,
won't
he's-
play.
they said he's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he hasn't helped them at
and
all.
then he went on
this year.
Instagram Live. He's like, "I'm healthy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Keep him
I'm
up.
still solid. He could have been so good. He doesn't have any ACLs.
He
He
has
just
all
moves
the-
freely.
No
All the
hands, no
talent in the world.
ACLs.
No hands, no ACLs. That's a good saying.
Well, we looked at some
Too
of these
much
great
attitude.
Super Bowl
She
moments.
said Slay, Jack. I don't know if you know Paisley, but she said Slay.
No, I don't know. Paisley.
Well, guess what? You should
Well,
slay.
slay.
So,
Slay.
You're slaying.
Hey, I support that.
thank you.
Jack's
Big Taylor
I
our guy.
think you're
fan?
killing it.
No, I'm not.
No, not a Swiftie?
Not
All
at
right.
all.
Well, we looked at some of the Super Bowl moments and teams. Then we're looking at some teams that did not make this Super Bowl, but we think have potential to make it in the future. So, Patrick, I'll start with you. Who's the winner amongst the losing teams this season?
I picked somebody that wasn't even in the playoffs this year. That's somebody most people wouldn't think about. I think about the Indianapolis Colts. They were not supposed to be good this year. They were supposed to be mid, but yet they almost made the playoffs. Actually, it came down to the last game against the Texans. The Texans that everybody thought was the greatest team in the world coming into the playoffs. And then they lost to the Ravens, which probably would have happened to the Colts
I
too.
don't
Even
think-
though the Colts beat them in the regular season with Anthony Richardson. And Gardner Minshew was a Pro Bowler this year, which is ridiculous to even utter those words
That's
out of my
wild,
mouth.
yeah.
That Gardner Minshew is a Pro Bowler. The guy doesn't have that much talent, if any. I love Gardner Minshew because of his personality. He's not a great quarterback by any stretch of the means. I think next year they did what the Eagles did. They built around their O-line. They have somewhat talent at the wide receiver core. I think Michael Pittman's
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
I think he
Yeah.
potentially could be a Pro Bowler next year. He put up 1,200 yards this year, I think. They have a backfield in Jonathan Taylor. I don't know if they're going to hold on to Zach Moss this year. I think he's a great running back as well. I think Anthony Richardson, there was an argument at the beginning of this year that he was equally, if not better than C.J. Stroud. They have a good linebacker core with like E.J. Speed, and I forget what the other guy's name is at this moment. Their defense isn't crazy good, but I think that's something they can build on in the draft and in the offseason. I think they very easily could make the playoffs next year. This AFC South division over the next few years with the amount of young quarterback and young talent is going to be the most entertaining division in football.
Oh, it's going to be tough. I cannot wait for the future of that division.
That division did a complete 180. It was looking like one of the worst, and then
Well, it's one of the worst for years.
yeah, but now it's looking good. I think that pick's solid. Maybe that might be a longer term build, but all right, I like it. Wellesley, what do you got?
All right, so real quick before I present my winner, I just want to tell you guys a story, right? So you look at the Green Bay Packers. 1992, they get a guy called Brett Favre, right? And he wins 3 straight MVPs, and he's this generational talent. A lot of picks, but who cares about the picks because he won a lot.
A lot of fumbles.
And then in 2005, they draft this, I don't know, this kid, I forget his name, Aaron Rodgers. They draft Aaron Rodgers. One of the most talented quarterbacks ever, if not the most talented quarterback ever. Not saying best, one of the most talented quarterbacks ever. Right? So they draft him, and wins a Super Bowl, wins a bunch of MVPs, whatever. And then in 2021, they take a chance on this kid named Jordan Love. Love is in the name. I love this kid's game. That's literally all. That's literally all I got to say about all this.
I think that's really high expectations to put on Jordan Love.
Well, you have to put the expectations. If you look at their 2 for 2 right now, right? And he certainly showed it this year, beating a Cowboys team that I'm not going to lie, I didn't think they had any chance of beating just because Dak was a dog this year, but then he kind of stunk in the playoffs. That's what the Cowboys do. But still, he won a playoff game this year when everyone thought this was going to be a simple rebuild just because they lost Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. And I mean, I think he's going to be a stud. Multiple-time Pro Bowler, maybe Super Bowl champion. Who knows? I don't know what his career is going to be like, but still.
I like LaFleur as a coach, too. And I like some of the pieces they have on their team. I just don't see a lot of talent all around that field.
Now, are you saying this for next year or for like the next up and coming
Well, I'm just saying
years?
they're winners this season just because they know they found their guy. Right?
Yeah.
The quarterback is
That's
the most important position on the field, and honestly, probably in sports. You need a good quarterback to win. Pat Mahomes, Brock Purdy, not great, but still, he's a serviceable quarterback. So I love Jordan Love.
Wow, that is the most praise I think I've heard anyone give Jordan Love. But you know what? I think in a few years, sure.
Did you look at Twitter after he won a playoff?
Yeah. There's
I was
plenty
just
of people
scratching
that
the
gave
surface. The Packers fans went nuts. I'm saying I like his game.
All right, Jack, I'll go to you. Who's your pick for the winner amongst the losers?
I am going Lions. Lions will be back next year. Super Bowl contention. They are, if I'm not mistaken, the only team that has never made it to a Super Bowl.
Browns, Texans,
Never made it?
Made it to a Super Bowl, not win.
Jaguars haven't made it.
They haven't made it?
Browns, Texans, Jaguars.
then
One
I
of
was
them-
mistaken.
Sorry.
They've been really bad.
Yeah,
One of the
exactly
worst
what you mean.
franchises ever.
So anyways, Dan Campbell's leaving these guys. They got Ben Johnson coming back. Ben Johnson was supposed to be leaving to take the Commanders' head coach position, but he's coming back as the offensive coordinator. I think the coaching staff, very solid. The actual players themselves, you got Gibbs, Laporta,
Monroe.
Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Laporta broke out
Hutchinson. You got all
Hutchinson,
these
yeah.
star players that have popped off this year. I think next year, even better. They're just going to keep building off of that.
Especially, I mean, keeping the offensive coordinator, that was the biggest thing. I thought he was
Yes.
for sure gone. Everyone thought he was
Everyone
gone,
thought he
especially
was
when they lost. So, I mean, I think they're probably the clear choice maybe for this.
Yeah, I think
This segment.
they're
One of the
miles
clear
they're
ahead
one
of
of the
everybody
clear
else.
choice. The only
Yeah.
thing is they just need help on defense, really.
It's true. Yeah.
And
That's
then,
what the offseason's for.
yeah, exactly.
keep rebuilding.
I like it, Jack. All right. I'm going to go to my pick, and this one I feel like is an obvious pick, but I'm going to rock with it anyways. Same division as Patrick's teams. I'm going with the Houston Texans. I don't think people thought they were the greatest team going into the playoffs. I thought people liked C.J. Stroud. I love C.J. Stroud almost as much as Wells loves Jordan Love. C.J. Stroud, rookie season, completely balled out. Is a true rookie, and even without Tank Dell, without Noah Brown in that final game, like their offense was so good. They completely overachieved. Next year, I don't know how much better they can get, considering how much they overperformed.
So little picks, too.
Yeah, and because last year they traded up.
Traded everything.
They traded a lot for last year, but it worked, and they got success early on with C.J. Stroud. And I think you talked about it, Colin, with the fact that the hardest thing to figure out is your quarterback. They figured it out for the next probably like 10, 15 years, by the way these
they got
contracts
their guy.
go. They have their guy, as you said. I think the Texans have a lot of talent, and they can just build because now they have the most important piece figured out.
Exactly. No, and then Tank Dell and Nico, like they're They're ballers.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary played good this year. I'm not saying that maybe he's their
Dameon Pierce,
long-term. Dameon Pierce.
I love
don't-
Dameon Pierce.
He fell off, man.
He really did.
It was a tough
He was
fall off.
fantastic last year.
His
Yeah.
rookie season was very good.
Use him. I think he got injured at one point this year, but they did not use
Yeah,
him.
he
at all.
got
No.
injured a little bit. He got dinged up, and then they bring him back.
Yeah.
Well, they did, but they didn't
They
use him
just
as
used
much.
Devin
And
Singletary.
he runs hard.
Yeah.
Like Pacheco, obviously not on the same level of Pacheco, but he runs hard, and I love running backs that he's running like he's running for a paycheck, which he literally
You ever
is.
seen the clip of him at Florida where he loses his helmet and still ran for the touchdown?
No,
No, I don't think I've seen
no,
that.
sorry, I
It's
didn't
an
see that.
elite
We'll check it out.
The moment my helmet comes off, I'm taking a knee, and I'm getting off that field.
You're not. That's the reason you're not Dameon Pierce.
By the way, guys, great pick, Jack. You
That's-
have a fan.
Jack.
That's a great point, Jack. That was a great pick. I just
That
want to let
that
you know
really was a
how
great pick.
amazing that pick was.
I think it's
If
the
you ask
most
1,000
logical
people
pick.
on the street who's their winner from this
Guys.
season that didn't win, half of them are saying the Texans.
Who do we think wins Super Bowl MVP for each team? You know, if they win.
Yeah.
So, if the Chiefs win, who's winning? And if the Niners win, who's winning?
So if you go Chiefs, it's pretty easy to say Pat Mahomes, but I think it's a toss-up between him and Kelsey. Kelsey could come out and have a 2-touchdown game pretty easily because obviously he's Mahomes' favorite target. I'll say Mahomes, but Kelsey is literally right there. And then on the 49ers side, they're not going to win, but got to go CMC. CMC
Yeah.
could go
Yeah.
for if he had 4 touchdowns, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I would say I believe it.
Yeah.
So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
those are my 2 picks.
I mean, on the Chiefs side, I want to say Travis Kelsey. I respect him.
That's
man.
what-
I really
that's what
do.
the
As
people
much
want.
As I have a disdain for both of these teams, I respect them to a certain extent. Not Debo Samuel, not Brock Purdy. No, well, I respect Brock Purdy. I have no respect
So
for
the 49ers
Debo
offense.
Samuel at all. That dude's a joke. But for the 49ers side, all right, we'll start with the Chiefs. Chiefs, I think Travis Kelsey. Patrick Mahomes has 2.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to give it to somebody else just because of voter fatigue. I mean, it is a fan vote. They're going to have voter fatigue when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. On the 49ers side, I think it's hard to say anybody but CMC. I think he's the best player on that team by a large margin. Arguably, Trent Williams is the best player on that team, but no offensive lineman's
Yeah.
ever won. Yeah, no offensive lineman's ever won Super Bowl MVP. I have to think there for a second. They have other people. I mean, but I don't. Brendan Ayuk's not going to win it. Kittle's not going to win it. Debo's definitely not going to win it. Brock could win
They
it.
do have a lot of options. The only way that
so
Brock
many.
Purdy gets it,
Dre
gets
Greenlaw
it
could win
is
it.
if he
Nick
spreads
Bosa
it
could
out.
win it.
Who?
Dre Greenlaw could win it. Nick Bosa could win it.
Fred Warner could win it too.
Fred Warner. I forgot. I always forget about Fred Warner.
He might be their best defensive guy. But Jack, who's your picks?
So for the Chiefs, I think NFL's going to stick with the script. I think they're going to ride Kelsey all the way.
That's fair.
I don't want to
That's
see
very
it,
fair.
but it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Niners side, I think Purdy's going to play well, have a good game. But I think CMC is going to play even better, and he's going to take the MVP.
I think so. Do you think Taylor Swift is going to hold up the Lombardi if the Chiefs win it?
Can we
Yes.
just
She's gonna be one of the-
talk about
Probably,
Taylor Swift?
yes.
I'm just bringing it up. You have to bring it up. If you're a football fan, then you notice that she's on a lot of football pages and stuff. I think she might hold up the Lombardi.
I feel like NFL fans don't want that to happen, but the Taylor Swift fans do. I'm interested to see if the NFL lets her hold it.
If the Chiefs win this year, the script talk, like people saying it's a scripted league,
Yeah.
will never be more popular ever.
Yeah, it won't
Yeah, this year was not the year for the Chiefs, and yet they're in the Super Bowl somehow. So
Because of the
be.
script.
Because of the QB. That's what it
that's
comes
true.
down
Having the best quarterback in the league does help.
Because of the defense.
Yeah, that is also
Okay.
true.
All right.
But now we're going to wrap up with our final segment, the 360 Sports Moment of the Day. So we talked about Patrick Mahomes earlier, but now we're talking about his dad. Was arrested on suspicion of a DWI. Not the best look going into the Super Bowl for the Mahomes family. What you guys think?
I mean, there's not much to
There's not
think.
much
You know,
to-
I feel bad for Pat with all of the questions coming his way, and then after he wins it, which I think he'll definitely be getting more questions. But I really have nothing to say. I don't know. It's terrible for their family, and then for Pat Mahomes going into this game, it's just like you're thinking of everything in your mind already. You're in the Super Bowl, biggest game of your life because you live in the moment. So, and then something like this happens, and there's rumor. Like it's really bad. But I hope he goes out there and balls out.
I think that if Patrick Mahomes wins his 3rd Super Bowl, everybody's going to forget about it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's no point in talking about it if he wins the 3rd Super Bowl. The only reason to talk about it is to make him seem worse, if you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's a bad situation for the entire family to be in, and nobody wishes that on their family at all. And as much as you have to respect his family, and it's a terrible situation for them to be in. Obviously, I don't condone drinking and driving at all. But, if he does win that 3rd Super Bowl, no one's going to be talking about this.
That's true.
This guy Pat Mahomes Sr., he used to play in the MLB, right?
Yeah.
For about 11 years.
Yeah.
It's just sad to see. You know, I wish nothing but the best for the family, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
don't know.
you got to bring it up, just talk about it. It's what everyone's talking about on Twitter
Yeah.
and the NFL world, but it's just like, I hope everything is all right with them.
Alex says, Jack, your shirt is snazzy. I mean,
oh,
It is
my
snazzy.
roommate
Great day
Alex.
for you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Jack,
Shout
you
out-
Just
look,
snazzy shirt.
Jack, you look really snazzy in that
Thank
shirt.
you.
No,
That's a
you
great
do,
point.
and you had a good pick with the Lions.
Great pick, great shirt.
Great pick, great shirt, great man.
Yeah. Next news that we have, another downer. Toby Keith has passed away, one of the best country singers. Actually, he was the second concert I ever went to in my life was a Toby Keith concert.
Wow.
But fortunately, he passed away last night. And so we'll say this. What was your favorite Toby Keith song?
For me, I love this bar. It has
Yeah.
to be my favorite one. I mean, there's a lot that you could. And by the end of it, he was still touring. I mean, he was on stage a couple nights ago. He couldn't stand anymore because how bad his stomach cancer had gotten. But he's a legendary country artist. I mean, everybody, if you go anywhere, you put on a Toby Keith song, somebody's gonna know it.
Yeah.
If not everybody, especially at a 4th of July party, it doesn't matter. Somebody's gonna know some Toby Keith.
Yeah, no, and I'm not the biggest country fan, so when this happened, I looked at it a little bit. I've heard a lot of his songs just like kind of unknowingly, at parties, like you said, 4th of July stuff. Red Solo Cup would have to be my favorite. I'm sorry, Jack. I know we talked about it earlier. I just have to go with that because that's a classic. I've been hearing that since I was very young, just at parties and family gatherings and stuff. So, this is terrible. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
No, it is very sad. I'm a big country fan, and one of these legends. It's sad to see, but like Will said, Red Solo Cup. That's one of his best songs ever.
We should have had Red Solo Cups on the.
We
Should have.
We should have. I didn't think of that. We didn't think of that.
I like How Do You Like Me Now. Should have been a cowboy. As good as I once was. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. I can't pick one. I don't know. I was a young little
Did
lad.
you just want to show off how many Toby Keith songs you know?
That's what happens when you get dragged to a Toby Keith concert when you're 8 is you start listening to the songs. You can't pick
Right.
one.
And he was good. He was good.
Sullivan said, Chris, mom is blocked, but she says, from commenting, but you're the best host ever.
Oh, thanks.
I agree.
You did actually.
Definitely.
You did a
Yeah.
great job today, Chris.
Some good
I
transitions.
did good, but I did not.
First time.
I know, but Jack also balled out in his first time on the show.
Great pick with the Lions. Great,
Great
man.
pick, great shirt, great
Thank
snazzy
you.
shirt.
Thank you.
Him, I don't know.
I tried. I
Yeah.
tried my best for a show this semester.
I'm just
trying
trying
to-
Well, make sure to tune into tomorrow's show. We got a good crew. It's a sports frenzy
Huge.
talking.
That's a great crew.
Talking
Yeah.
different sports all around. We got Rocco, we got Jeremy, we got Chooch, we got Ryan. Should be a good one. They're gonna talk a whole bunch of stuff, probably some NFL as well. So tune in for tomorrow, and thank you for watching today's version of 360 Sports.